it would be highly unusual for a player to renew their contract and not get a pay rise. So the question I'm going to ask you in the chat is, if you're John W. Henry and you're sitting down with Rami Abbas and you're sitting down with Mohamed Salah, and we can have this conversation about Virgil in a while as well if you want, do you think that he deserves a pay increase, Mo, from what he's on now? This video is sponsored by Surfshark, the best VPN on the market. Surfshark is an app or browser extension that allows you to change your location to access websites in other countries and keep you safe and secure from hackers. Using Surfshark, we here in Ireland can access other countries' Netflix libraries or other streaming platforms like DAZN in Spain for all those important Premier League games. Surfshark keeps you safe and private by protecting everything you do online. Everything. When your device connects to the internet, all that information is, in a way, blurred out. Surfshark is particularly useful for keeping you safe from being hacked if you use public Wi-Fi. Let's say you're in a cafe, you're at college, you're out and about, they've got you covered. Surfshark allows you to use one subscription on unlimited devices, meaning you can share your account with friends or family or that neighbour who's a little bit cheap. On top of all of this, Surfshark offers a 30-day money-back guarantee. You can also upgrade to Surfshark One, which includes the VPN, an alert system for breaches related to your data, such as emails and credit cards, and an antivirus software for your desktop. Our sign-up offer gives you Surfshark VPN for a little over €2 a month, and you'll get an additional 3 months free. Simply scan the QR code on screen right now or use the link in the description and enter the code Anfield Agenda at checkout. An exit for Jota if Mbappe was to come, Craig. Well, if you look at the media, the two most likely candidates for a Liverpool departure in attack, not me saying this by the way, were reported to be Gakpo and Diaz. So I don't know who would be more likely, and I don't want to wish any of our forwards away either, by the way, because I very much like the collection of forwards that we have at the football club. But you would think if he did come in, it's to replace somebody, and the most likely somebody would be Mohamed Salah. But that's in the situation where Mo doesn't extend. I don't know what to expect from that at the minute, because obviously he's away at the AFCON now with Egypt, so there's going to be no communication or conversation over signings at this time. And then we're getting towards the summer, and you're getting into the business end of the season where you probably don't want to distract them either. So it's a difficult situation right now, and I've said this numerous times. I think this is the most difficult decision the club have had to make since FSG took over as owners. Honestly, I feel like weighing up what way to approach and deal with the contract situation we find ourselves in with Mo is incredibly difficult, because there are really valid points to be made on every side of it. Give him a new deal. Of course there's validity to that. Of course there's validity to it. Sell him. You can't say there isn't validity to that if you look to the long term. And I want to give you a bit of context today. So Newcastle's chief executive was speaking about the fact that some of their high-profile players may indeed have to be sold down the line to turn over funds to allow Newcastle to continue to go on and strengthen. And one of the examples he gave was Liverpool selling Felipe Coutinho, allowing us to be able to then go and buy Alisson Becker and Virgil van Dijk. So that's another aspect that I think we as Liverpool fans need to consider. Of course you don't want to lose Mohamed Salah. Of course you don't. But you know what's worse than losing Mohamed Salah? Losing him for free. And that's the part that I just don't want to happen. Yeah, an extension, no issues. But getting in towards the last year makes me very, very nervous, because the longer it goes on, the more the ball's in the players' court. The more, it's their decision to make. And we all assume it would be Saudi or nothing, but just imagine a world where he runs it down, leaves for free and goes to another European club, which could be possible. That would hurt. So the whole situation with Mo is the key to everything right now. Now, David Ornstein was speaking about Liverpool's most likely next contract renewals. And of course, the three big names that he mentioned are the three that we all obviously think about: Virgil van Dijk, Trent Alexander-Arnold, and Mohamed Salah. You would imagine the Trent one, it's certainly a priority, and there's no argument about extending Trent. Age profile, future captain, starting to blossom even more as a player. That's the club will. That's a priority. They'll get that done, and Trent stays where he belongs. Virg, again, as Liverpool captain, you would imagine that that's going to be hopefully a fairly straightforward conversation. But you also can't just ignore the age. And we know our owners have been reticent to give longer extensions to people over the age of 30. There was some exceptions, of course, for Henderson and Milner, but ultimately, would you look back at those and say that it was an unmitigated success? Maybe with Milner, you could say, yeah. With Henderson, in my opinion, it just ended up being thrown back in the club's face when he wanted to go to Saudi. So I don't know what's going to happen with Mo. But I know I don't like not knowing. And I know I don't like the uncertainty. So how are you feeling about it? Like, if I said to you right now, you have the keys to the kingdom, you are John W. Henry, what are you doing? Because I have no doubt Jurgen wants to keep Mo. Of course. Why wouldn't he? He knows he can rely on Mo. He knows he's a superstar who stays fit, who lives the life. He's a supreme athlete, who's a wonderful human being. No doubts the manager will want to keep him. But the manager doesn't sign the checks. So I'm interested to know what you think John W. Henry and FSG will do. I don't see Mo wanting to join the Saudi League to play in front of 300 fans. I think that's a fair point, Chris. I think that is a very fair point. And I think I don't want to ridicule another country's footballing league. I don't want to do it. But I think there are certain players who may work. And look, for Mo going to Saudi, culturally, it's probably not going to be as big of a shock to him as it would be for, let's say, a man from Ireland or England to move over to Saudi to get to grips with the culture, with the laws, the way the day-to-day lives of people over there live. And for Mo, or maybe maybe practicing Muslims, as an example, maybe like Karim Benzema or N'Golo Kante, maybe for these guys, it's an easier transition. So what I don't like, though, is to hear this nonsense that it's a shock to the likes of Henderson or other players who go over there and realise that, oh, what, it's warm? Really? In Saudi Arabia? It's warm? This stuff is weird. If I'm John W. Henry, I'm asking Klopp what he wants. I'm also asking Mo what he wants. Absolutely fair point, Carson. Now, let's say it would be highly unusual for a player to renew their contract and not get a pay rise. So the question I'm going to ask you in the chat is, if you're John W. Henry and you're sitting down with Rami Abbas and you're sitting down with Mohamed Salah, and we can have this conversation about Virgil in a while as well if you want, do you think that he deserves a pay increase, Mo, from what he's on now? The poll's up, it's a yes or no. So, not do you think he deserves an extension, do you think he deserves a pay increase as part of that extension at what will be 32 years of age at the end of the season? Because I'm going to be honest and say I don't. I've no problem extending him, and I've said many times, for the club wage structures to be broken for him, it was the right person. Nobody has earned it more than he has. But right now, do I feel like he's getting better and deserves more money? I don't. I feel like he should get the same money. I don't expect him to have a pay cut, but I wouldn't be lumping a load more money at him. So if Mo was to extend in an ideal world for me, it would be 2 more years on the wage structure and the bonuses that he's on now. And if he was happy to do that, I'd lash the contract in front of him and say, sign away, Mohammed. You've earned every penny of it. But if he's looking for, let's say, an increase or the basic to go up to $500,000 a week or something, I don't think it's value. I just don't. I know these are horrible conversations, and I get in trouble a lot of the time because people think that I'm trying to undermine Mo. I'm not. I'm just trying to be honest about the health of the football club and the trajectory that we're going. And, you know, if we had owners that were like Todd Bowley or other clubs, and we didn't have to consider every goddamn million and half million, I'd probably think differently. But we aren't that club. We've never been that club. And I can't help but look back at situations like Aubameyang, Ozil. Now look, Mo ain't those guys. But these last ditch high level contracts, they just don't strike me as good business for football clubs. And holding on to a player too long is probably worse than letting him go too early, in my opinion. But that's the business side of it. The emotional side of it, you want Mo to stay, don't you? Of course you do. Some people will call you haters for that, but I like to think it's rational thinking. Now, I guess we're going to have to talk about the situation with Virgil van Dijk as well. Because with Van Dijk, we've a similar situation. Same age profile, similar contract situation, similarly important role at the football club, as in one of the mainstays of the team, one of the spine of the team. You think Alisson, Van Dijk, Salah, you know, that spine of this Liverpool team. But I'd have the same stance with Virg. I wouldn't be giving Virgil van Dijk a pay rise. From, like, you know, you want your captain to be probably always near the top of the earners at the football club. And that's fair. Henderson always had a high pay. And I think Virg deserves that. But if he's on about 200 odd grand a week now, do I think Virg is worth giving another pay increase to? I don't know. I don't think so. I think, again, I'd have a similar mindset with the way that the Mohamed Salah conversation is going. Business and performance-wise, says AAA, he doesn't deserve it. It's so hard to say that, though, isn't it? Like, there are a lot of stats that will show Mo is still doing lots of great things. And he is. But I think it's fair to say there'll also be some stats to show that the output isn't the same in certain areas. So it is a tough conversation to have. And I'd rather let somebody go than maybe in a year's time being sitting here. Because I tell you what I don't want to happen. I don't want Liverpool fans, and I definitely include myself in this, to ever look at Mo in a year's time and go, I wish, it's not working out this. The club are stuck with a high earner on a load of money. And I don't want that to happen. I don't want that memory of Mo. I want to look back and only ever think positively about Mo at the club. So if that means we have to move him on and be a bit ruthless, well, okay, that's life, I guess.